Hi, it's Cheryl. Welcome to Homeridge Studio. This video is a compilation of all of my favorite DIYs from 2023. I hope you enjoy it. This is my first, this is only one craft. And I got these from a local thrift store. This beat up birdhouse and this beat up, I don't know what it is, kind of like a candle stand or something. So anyway, I did not pay $2.99 for either one of them. I always wait until they go 50% off. So they were $1.50 for both. This is a metal stand and I am putting Mod Podge on it. It's matte Mod Podge. And put a nice good coat on that and let it dry. Now, I really like the texture of this birdhouse. That's why I picked it up. And I am painting it with the plaster chalk paint. And I only gave this one good coat because I really wanted it to look like it's been outside and weathered. And so while or after, make sure that this is dry, because I didn't make sure this was dry because I was rushing myself, and those wood pieces do not stick until it is dry. So I took 4 of these popsicle sticks and I cut one the length of the roof, one a little bit shorter, a little bit shorter, and a little bit shorter. So there's 4 of them. So at all different lengths. And I'm not going to tell you the lengths because I really doubt you're going to find a birdhouse like this, and you'll just have to kind of eyeball it yourself if you try this one. But I used 4. If you have a smaller birdhouse, you may need to use 5. Anyway, so first I'm going to glue the longest pieces. So there's 6 rows on both sides of the roof of the birdhouse. So I cut 12 long pieces and I'm just gluing them right next to each other. So there's going to be 6 on one side and 6 on the other side. See, that's where that didn't stick because I cleaned the birdhouse off. I literally put it under water and scrubbed it and I didn't let it dry. And then I painted it and didn't let that dry. So let it dry really, really well. And so now you can see that the popsicle sticks, and these are the larger ones. And I don't know if I got them from the Dollar Tree or Walmart, either or. So now I'm taking the second size, because there's 4 different sizes, and I'm gluing them on top of the other one. And make sure that they're all the way matching, like at the bottom where the circular part is. Make sure they're all even there, because on top we can fix that, and I'll show you how in a minute. And this is how we're going to fix that messy looking top. This is a dowel rod. Either get it from the Dollar Tree or Walmart. I get most things from Walmart or the Dollar Tree. Once in a while I'll go to Hobby Lobby. They're not super close around here, about a 30-minute drive, so I try to make do with the Walmart that's 15 minutes away and the Dollar Tree, which is literally I can almost walk to. So anyway, I just cut a dowel rod down with a pair of those wire clippers, and now I glued it onto the top, and now I'm painting all of it, the dowel rod and the entire roof. And now that it's done, I'm taking that hazelnut, and that is chalk paint too, and I'm going to kind of dry brush it, a little bit heavier than dry brushing, and I do have a heavy hand when I paint, but I do this all the time. I'll put on more and then I'm like, ooh, that's too much, and then I take the white and then I go over it with the white, and I just keep working with it until, you know, I like it. If you like a heavier distress, go ahead and do that. If you like, so now I'm going to make like a little perch. So I took that dowel rod that was left over from the top, and I'm just going to sand it down. And when you cut those popsicle sticks, I forgot to tell you, do sand them down because they will be sharp. And so now I put 2 coats of that plaster Waverly chalk paint on that. Actually, I put 3 coats on that. Let that dry between each coat, and then Mod Podge it because it is metal and you don't want it to scrape off. And so I took the hazelnut like I did on the house, and now I'm just brushing it lightly, or heavier, I guess. This I have a heavy hand, I don't know, but I put more white on it, so in the end it just doesn't look so dark. These are the little blocks from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just hot gluing those two together. And now I'm going to paint those with the hazelnut and just one coat. And I just put one coat of paint on everything except for that metal stand. Again, the metal stand was 3 coats and a Mod Podge on top. And now I'm going to take this is going to be a bird swing, and I'm just going to hot glue rope onto the top of it, and then I am going to hot glue it onto the roof. But before I do that, I put these little toothpicks that are from the Dollar Tree. They're little hearts on them, and I clipped 2 of those off and glued one on each side. Can't get out, and I just took a Sharpie and colored that in so you can't see the wood. So I just suggest that you hot glue one end on and don't wrap it around like I did, and then the other end, and then glue it to the top. And so here, to hide all the ugliness of I'm not a woodworker or anything, so this is not perfect. I'm just going to put a mixture of Spanish moss and then this, I don't know what it's called, green moss. There's like different kinds of moss. And I'm going to put a little bit on the roof, on the top, and on the sides. But in the bird hole, I am going to put the Spanish moss in there because it looks more like something that birds would make a nest out of. Now I'm going to wrap these pit berries. This was a little bit of a challenge, but it took a while. And finally, I got it wrapped all around. It was just a big clunky piece trying to fit in and out of these metal legs. And now some more moss. And I'm just putting a little bit on, just to give it like just a little bit of subtlety. And now I have one of those hearts. It comes in a pack of 5 from the Dollar Tree. It's a grapevine heart. And I'm just going to hot glue that on the front. And those little roses that have a ton of silver glitter on them, those come from the Dollar Tree. They're in a multicolored pack. And I'm going to glue one on the top here. And now we can attach it by hot glue, or you can E6000 it to attach the 2 pieces together. And I apologize, I don't know where I got these birds from. It could have been Michael's. I love doves. We have doves in our backyard almost every day, and I don't know, they just make me happy. I love birds. I think the older I get, the weirder I get about that kind of stuff, but we have all kinds of birds in our backyard, and we have a bird feeder and we feed them, and we have deer and raccoons and chipmunks in the summer, squirrels, all kinds of really cool stuff. Anyway, so I just glued them on the swing there like they're little lovebirds, and this is what it looks like. So you'll need 2 placemats from the Dollar Tree, some polyfill or pillow stuffing, red felt, and some felt flowers. I have this sign from the Dollar Tree, this wood piece, heart, whatever it is, it's a heart, and I'm just tracing it onto the felt, and then I cut out that heart out of the felt. Now I'm folding this in half so I can find where the middle is, and then I'm going to place my heart right smack in the middle of the placemat. After that, go ahead and glue 3 of the 4 sides. Put a generous amount of glue in there, and then go ahead and stuff it as full as you want. And now I'm putting these clips, also from the Dollar Tree, along the pillow here. So as you can see, I'm going to glue just the upper edge, and then I'm going to pull it, wait a second, and then run my fingers along it so it presses it together. Be careful that you do not burn your hands. They do have the finger protectors. So do that around the whole entire pillow. Well, not the whole pillow, just the bottom, because we glued the other ones. These are some felt roses from the Dollar Tree. 2 are big, 2 are small, and I just put one on each opposite corner. Now you can put whatever kind of ribbon you want in the middle here, or you can leave it plain if you want. You can put a flower in the middle. That would be pretty too. But I have this ribbon from the Dollar Tree. Quick and easy. This is actually a thrifted vase that I got at a local thrift store for like $1. And I love the color pink. It is my favorite color. I picked up a couple of them. But you can use any color that you want. These are pearls from the Dollar Tree. Or I don't know what they are. Like a ribbon, pearl ribbon or something. Anyway, they're very pretty. And then these florals are from the Dollar Tree. So the idea here is if you get a colored jar, just make sure that the flowers kind of match the jar. And there were 2 bundles, and I just zip tied them together. I have some moss and some foam. I didn't use the foam because I'm not going to sell this. I'm going to put it on my table. So I just put some glue in there, put some moss in there, and put the bundle of roses in there. And now I'm going to take these pearls and I'm just going to hot glue them around probably 3 or 4 times. I think I wrapped it around. But you can wrap it around once if you like. You can wrap it around, you know, however many times that you like in any color. And you know what else would be pretty? If you used a white vase, you could put red roses in there. And you could put the red pearls around it. That would be really pretty. Or you could do it with pink too. And here's what that vase looks like next to a candle. Grab one of these signs or wood pieces from the Dollar Tree. Some heart grapevine miniature wreaths. Some wood letters. And we're going to spell the word home. Or you could put welcome, love, whatever you want on your sign. We're going to paint it with some antique wax. We'll need some pit berries and some ribbon of your choice. So go ahead and paint your letters. And then I'm just going to take a baby wipe and rub all of that off. And now while that's drying, we're going to take one of these hearts and we're just going to hot glue it onto the front. And obviously I'm taking the hanger off that, but keep that hanger because we're going to put it back on. And I thought it would be kind of cute. You could put a picture in that little heart. Now I'm spelling the word home. Now I'm drawing with an ink pen, but you should draw with pencil, like a squiggly little line from the bottom of the heart all the way to the O in home. So now I just made a squiggly line, and just like that, pitberry is coming right out of the O, and I just hot glued it where the pitberries are, so where it touches this sign. And then I put the hanger back in, but I just kept looking at it thinking, you know, it looks kind of boring and it is missing something. And so I just took 2 roses, white roses, and put them on the top and on the bottom. Grab a wood round from the Dollar Tree. Grab a fancy heart from the Dollar Tree. This is from Hobby Lobby. I got it last year. It was $3.99, but I'm sure I paid like at least 50% off. Got some the antique wax again, and the chalk paint and plaster, and some ribbon of your choice for the hanger. And we're going to need baby wipes too. So remove the hanger, and then go ahead and paint the round. I painted both sides with the antique wax. So now that's going to dry. And we're going to take the plaster chalk paint. As you can see, mine is kind of dried up, and I'm going to tell you what happened in a second. But we're going to paint this heart with that. I had to add some water in that. So I have a cabinet that I keep all of my painting supplies and glues and all that in. And the cabinet is narrow but tall. And I did not realize it, but it was on top of a heater vent. Our heater vents are in the floor here. And I lost some glues, some paints, and you know, this stuff is kind of pricey, and I was really bummed out about it, but I was able to salvage some of them, and this was one of them. I just added water to it, and it worked out fine. And so I went ahead and just painted the front of this, and the paint that kind of got like globbed on in the inside of those little hearts in the middle, I took a toothpick and I kind of cleaned it up there. That's what I was showing you. And now I'm just going to put some of this lace that is from the Dollar Tree on the back. And that's going to be the hanger. And then I'm just going to reinforce it with another piece of lace. And now we're going to go ahead and glue this heart onto the front of the wood round, and we are going to position it so it covers up those two holes on the top. And that's it. I thought this was super simple and super pretty, just Victorian almost looking. And this is what it looks like on my wall. Blue picture frame from the Dollar Tree. And this is some pink chalk paint. I think it's called ballet slipper. We need some Mod Podge. And go ahead and open up that frame. And I didn't use those flowers. I was going to, but I changed my mind. And remove everything from the picture frame. And we're going to go ahead and put a good thick coat of Mod Podge onto the front and the sides and the inside of that frame, and paint 2 coats of the chalk paint. I must have lost the footage, and then another coat of Mod Podge on the top of that to protect it. These I got from a thrift store. They were $1.99, and there's a ton of them in here. And so I decided that I was going to say a piece of my heart. And that's what I wanted to glue on there. I was going to do a cricket, but I didn't end up doing the cricket. I just thought it would be too small, weeding and everything. So I glued the heart on there and some lips on there, and that was a picture of my kids. I can put a picture in there. You can put a rose, one of those grapevine hearts. I think a picture would be absolutely adorable in here. Gnome gift basket. Not a basket, it's a gift tin. So you need some moss. These are white rose petals from the Dollar Tree. And this is all from the Dollar Tree. A tin, any color you want. A couple of these gnomes. These are the styrofoam hearts on a stick. Some Valentine's ribbon. These pieces are wood pieces from the Dollar Tree. I just painted them red. And some baby's breath, or any kind of flowers that you'd like. I'm just taking some tissue paper and I'm going to put it down in the bottom of that tin, and now I'm going to put some floral foam in there. And just take these petals and overlapping them, hot glue them all the way around the bottom, and then start with the second layer. I think there's 4 layers. And as you can see, I'm finishing this up, and it's going to come up over the top. And the handle should be in the front. And I'm throwing some hot glue down there and some of this moss. I like the green color for this DIY because it kind of looks like grass a little bit. And now I measured the gnome because I want him, and I say him because he's going to be the male gnome, sticking up about 3 inches from the bottom. And I'm cutting the beard down into 2 pieces because I want this to be a female gnome. And I'm just taking some of this jute and making a bow on both sides. And then another little shoelace bow I'm tying here. And we're just gonna hot glue that on her hat. And I have some buttons, and I'm just gonna hot glue a little button on top of that bow. And I want her to be just a little bit shorter than the male gnome. So I measured it out, and I'm just gonna pop it in there. And now another shoelace bow with the Dollar Tree ribbon. And that little kiss me sign. Gluing that on there, and the lips next to it. And now these little valentines, the styrofoam hearts, and these are the red ones, sparkly red ones. I put a couple in the front, one in the back. And now some baby's breath. We're gonna pop a couple pieces in there, all around it, on the sides, in the front, and the back. And voila! Quick, simple, easy, and inexpensive. This is a clover wall hanging, and you're gonna need a clover from the Dollar Tree, a wood round, a ruler or a pencil, some ribbon, jute twine, and some paint. I have black and white Waverly chalk paint, and I have this green paint from the Dollar Tree. So take the wood round and remove the hanger on that. And now I'm going to start at the top where the holes are, where I remove the jute twine, and I am going to do, this is kind of a Mackenzie Childs themed, not kind of, it is a Mackenzie Childs themed piece. And there's two different ways to do this. So you can just take your ruler and keep on moving down and then do it cross. So you have these squares. That's one way. And then you paint them, you tape them off, and you can paint them. This is another way. I find it a little bit easier. It can be a little confusing, a little complicated until you do it once, but you just lay 3 pieces of tape down, pull up the middle, 3 more, pull up the middle. After you do that, you turn it around, and then you do it again. Lay 3 down, pull up the middle, lay 3 down, pull up the middle, all the way until you have the whole thing covered, and it looks like a basket, a weaved basket. And go ahead and press that down firmly so it doesn't, the paint doesn't leak or bleed through, I should say. And this is a silicone mat I got from Temu. I have a Temu haul that I did last time. Be sure to watch that. I got some amazing things. So I'm just going to put some paint in a bowl and go ahead and paint all those little squares white. And now while that's drying, we're going to go ahead and paint the clover. I am just going to paint the inside of it because the hearts that are in or on top of the clover, we're going to do the Mackenzie Child thing again. That's an angle brush. It's easier to get in to the corners and crevices with the angle brushes. I love them. I don't remember where I got these. It was probably Michael's or Hobby Lobby or even Walmart. So that's what it looks like when it's done. And now we're going to come back to this because it is dry, and we're going to peel off all the tape. And that's what it looks like, and now we're going to cover it up all over again. But we're going to cover up the white paint, so make sure that it's dry. And make sure that it's pressed down firmly. And now we're going to do the same thing. 3, pull the middle up, 3, pull the middle up. And make sure that when you look below it, that's what I'm looking for, that I'm doing this correctly. So you don't want to paint white next to white. You want to do white, black, white, black, white, black. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. Okay, so here is the other white, the opposite side of the white. And now when that's dry, we're going to go ahead and put this, do the same thing all over. 3 pieces of tape, pull the middle one up I probably should have got new tape. I was trying to save it because this wasn't sticking really well, and the black did bleed through a little bit, but it wasn't a big deal because we're going to fix it. So now we're just going to do the black squares, and that's what it looks like. And when it's good and dry, pull off all the tape again and see where that bled through there. We're going to not circle, we're going to section it off with that gold marker, so you won't be able to see it anyway. And so that's what it looks like, a big circular checkerboard. So now I am taking and I am brushing, I'm kind of pulling white through the black, and then you pull black through the white. And then I took the gold marker, and I don't know what happened to the footage, but I went around and did the whole circle in the gold, and each square I not colored in, but I traced in gold. So after that's done, we're going to do the same thing to the hearts in the middle of this clover. This is a little easier because it's smaller. And the first one, it kind of takes a while. The first one took a while, and I did dry it with my hair dryer, or if you have a heat iron, that's fine too. And then when you're done with that, that's what that looks like. And I am hot gluing it right onto that round. I did distress with white over that green because I did not like that green color. Now we're going to make a hanger. But I want to tell you, the acrylic green I got from the Dollar Tree, not a big fan of it. It's really, I don't know, thin and kind of soupy, and it doesn't cover really well. So I would suggest, you know, maybe getting something like an apple barrel or something pretty inexpensive from Walmart. So I just took some jute twine, and I had these beads in my stash. They came in a big like garland I got on clearance after Christmas, and I just looped the the jute in half, and then did one green, 3 natural color, 1 green, 3 natural color, and so forth. And the bottom here, I'm going to make a little tassel. Just wind it around your hand as many times as you want. This might be 8 or 10 times. And loop it off on the top. And then I put a couple beads on there. Tied the top of that like that. And then I trim the bottom. And then I'm going to hot glue it just like I hot glued the top one. And there you go. This is a thrifted Clover basket. I got it from a local thrift store. It was dirty, and I don't know. It looked like it needed a little bit of TLC. I paid $1 for it. We're going to paint it with that Waverly plaster, I believe. I have the ribbon from the Dollar Tree and these clovers, 2 different kinds, lighter and darker from the Dollar Tree, and some foam, floral foam, and some jute twine. Oh, and Spanish moss, or any kind of moss that you'd like. And I put 2 good coats on this. And this is what it looks like when it's done. And now we're going to hot glue the floral foam in there. And now take your wire cutters, and don't use your scissors because I ruined mine, and cut all the clovers out. And I put the darker green ones in first, and then I kind of sparsely put in the lighter ones. And put a little bit more on the bottom, and now I'm taking that Spanish moss and kind of stuffing it in there so you don't see the foam. And I glued that handle up so it wouldn't fall anymore. And now I'm making a bow. I think it was 6 inches. I would make it a little bit bigger. I made one maybe 8 inches made, and then 6, and then 4, and I think the 4-inch was too small. It worked out fine. I probably would have made it just slightly bigger. And I just took some jute twine, tied it off, and then give it a really good fluffing. That's the object to a good bowl. And I dovetailed the ends, and there you go. Super simple. This is a beaded St. Patrick's Day wreath. I thrifted that, the florals and the clovers I'm not going to use, but I thrifted that. It was like $1, and it was like kind of like a bunch of green carnations on a chain, and I just thought it was kind of cool. So you can buy flowers separate, and you can wire them on, zip tie them on like I'm doing here. And you can glue the flowers so you can see some of the beads. I wanted some of the beads showing and some not. And you could actually even do half of a wreath. That would be really nice too. And now I have that, I don't know what it's called. It's like a mesh tubing. It's green. You can't hardly see it here, but I tied 4 of them on. And then I went ahead and got this green clear ribbon or see-through ribbon and the other ribbon from the Dollar Tree and put 2 of them together, dovetailed the ends and tied them on with that green mesh tubing. And these clovers are from the Dollar Tree. Just remove the stick, and I just hot glued them right in the middle of the bows. And there you have it. Super simple. This is a painted money pot with a leprechaun hanging out of it. I already showed you how to do the Mackenzie Child thing. I painted the pot black and the handles and the feet white with the chalk paint, and I did that Mackenzie Child in the middle. And I outlined it with that gold pen. And I didn't show you painting that because I already did previously, and I'm sure you guys know how to paint and you do not want to see me paint. So we need a leprechaun like that from the Dollar Tree, and the money pieces from the Dollar Tree or the coins, ribbon, and now I'm just going to hot glue these. I have the green coins and the gold coins. And I just kept on building it up, so it was almost kind of like 3D. So it kind of popped. And then just take these legs right off that leprechaun and put him aside for another day. And go ahead and hot glue them behind the money. Now I'm making a messy bow. Yeah, that's what it is. And I'm dovetailing the ends. And I just have a bunch of ribbon. Some of it's from the Dollar Tree. The thicker ones here are from the Dollar Tree. And the thinner ones that you'll see in a minute are from, I think, Michael's and Hobby Lobby. But they weren't very much money. And if you can't find or you don't have this, you know, just any green, white, and gold ribbon would work just fine. You could probably even put some burlap in there. You could probably put a little bit of yellow. And I just tied it with some raffia, and now I'm putting, I don't know, like a bunch of raffia. I just wrapped it around my fingers about 4 times, clipped off the ends, tied it in the middle, and I'm going to hot glue that on in the middle. I just thought it needed something else. And I have a green button here. I'm going to stick that right on top of the raffia. And there you have it. Nope, I'm not done yet, I guess. I forgot about these little green mesh things. I don't know why I put them in there. I just thought it needed something different. And there you go. So first, the egg comes from the Dollar Tree. I did not use those beads, but you can. I'll show you later on how we use them. These are Delilah's. I used 4.5 bunches, and they're from the Dollar Tree. Some Mod Podge. Some plaster chalk paint. The vase is from the Dollar Tree, and so is this ball. So first I'm going to, that is from Timo, I just wanted to tell you, and so is that mold. So I'm showing you the pieces that I ordered, that I bought, and how to use them. So first I'm going to put a generous amount of Mod Podge on the ball and on that plastic vase. And while those are drying, I am putting hot glue in the mold here to make a butterfly. And the reason that I put the Mod Podge on the ball in the vase is because we're going to put chalk paint on it, and I want the chalk paint to adhere to it. So while those are still drying, I clipped off all of my flowers, and the stem there, the wire part, is about, I want to say, 1/2 of an inch wide. We don't want it too long and we don't want it too short, because we're going to poke those into the ball. So this butterfly here, I'm just going to trim it out. It's dry and it worked out perfectly. Just have to trim a little bit of the sides off. And now I'm going to put just 1 coat of the chalk paint on the ball and 2 on that vase. I didn't like how the vase turned out, so I'm distressing it with the mineral chalk paint, and this gives it more of a stone look. This is white felt from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to glue some on the bottom of this so it doesn't scratch your countertop. And then I'm just trimming it off. And these scissors, not the purple ones, but these pink ones here, are from the Dollar Tree. I love them. They work really, really well for getting in little teeny nooks and crannies. Okay, so put that aside and just pop all of your flowers right into the ball. They poke in really easy. I did not hot glue them in. I didn't need to. You can if you want. Here that you leave a little space on top and a little space on the bottom where there are no flowers, because we're going to be hot gluing it on top of that. And I have to put in a couple more, but we will do that in a minute. So a generous amount of hot glue, and just press that on there. And here's that egg from the Dollar Tree. They have different colors. I chose the pink one because pink is one of my favorite colors. And I glued it on the top, and this little butterfly I'm painting in the plaster chalk paint. And now that is just Deco Art Brown, Burnt Umber it's called. I have a tiny brush, and I'm going to paint the body of the butterfly and then outline the wings of the butterfly to give it a little bit more definition. I have this hat that I used on a project that you'll see coming up in a couple, like 3 more projects from now on this video. You could use that as lace around the bottom. You could cover it with material or tissue paper, or keep the paint. Those are just different options that I'm giving you. This is pink lace, and this whole the whole pack was from Temu. It was $11, I think. Well worth it. Some beautiful, beautiful lace, and there's a lot of it. This looks like the lace from the Dollar Tree, and you could use that, but this actually, and you can't see, has like some gold in there, so it just really makes this piece pop. I hot glued the butterfly on the top of that egg, and we are done. And this is what it looks like sitting on my table. And the bunnies there are from Target Dollar Spot. The roses and the eggs are from the Dollar Tree. So you'll need a tin, and let me tell you, I had a hard time getting that very large sticker off the front, and Goo Gone and water and my blow dryer and everything else, and it kind of scratched it up. So we're going to have to cover it with this, is what I chose. This is from Walmart. It is burlap with some, I don't know what kind of white, like looks like puffy paint on it, but I love it. You can use anything you want. These bunnies are from Hobby Lobby, $4.99 at 40% off. These are from Hobby Lobby, $6.99 at 40% off. I just love the color of those flowers. They're gorgeous. And then most of this is from the Dollar Tree, because I'm going to use like a blue turquoise off-white kind of decor pattern on this tin. I just pulled all my ribbon out that has the same color. I hope that makes sense. That is from Temu also, and that's fringe. Those I don't use, but you can use pit berries. I do use them a lot. Any flowers, florals of your choice. We're going to use some moss. I have a mixture of the Spanish moss and the green moss. These eggs are from the Dollar Tree, the styrofoam eggs. The beads are from the Dollar Tree. And this is white felt from the Dollar Tree. I get most of my stuff from the Dollar Tree. Mod Podge, Waverly White Chalk Paint. This is Deco Art Burnt Umber, and the blue one is Apple Barrel Aqua Sky. So first, it's always good if you know you're going to paint ahead of time, go ahead and paint so everything dries while you're putting everything else together that doesn't need to be painted. So I'm going to put a coat of Mod Podge on 3 of these styrofoam eggs, and I'm going to let them dry. And that's so the paint adheres to them. Now I'm just kind of tracing around the bottom because I'm going to cover up all the scratches and everything, which actually turned out to be good because I think that tin just is too bright, as you can see. And again, this fringe is very, very nice from Temu. And I'm just hot gluing it right up on the top there. So I did do a Temu haul earlier, which is a couple videos ago, and I'm doing another one soon. I just got another one in, but more gadgets and more craft supplies. And I'm going to probably have that one up and posted in a couple weeks. So go ahead and put tissue paper in the bottom of this because we don't want to stuff it all with moss because it's a waste of material. And I'm going to put that bunny in there kind of like he's peeking out. And I thought I was going to be able to cut it with my wire cutters. And as you can see, I am fighting with that little sucker. And that was like, I don't know, very thick metal. So I pulled that out and I just took a dowel rod that I had in my stash, and I'm just going to hot glue the bunny up against the tin. And as you probably already know, do not touch the tin when you put hot glue on it because it is extremely hot. So I'm just holding him in place until that glue dries a little bit. And then I'm going to put a little bit more tissue paper in there. I just put it up on top so I don't use all of my moss again. And that little bow came off the bunny. And I'm just going to hot glue it back onto him. And I just drew like two little egg shapes, or one little egg shape, and then folded the felt over to make little paws because he's going to be like peeking up with his paws hanging out. And this is a black Sharpie, and I'm just making little the little nails on the bunny. And I thought it was plain, so I took this ribbon and I'm just gonna outline the top of it just to give it some more character, more interest. Legs are dry and we're gonna paint them with this Apple Barrel Aqua Sky blue color. And I believe I put 2 coats on that. Now I'm showing you. And then I'm just popping this moss in here. Like I said, I have the Spanish moss and I have the green moss. I live in Michigan. That's what our grass looks like right now. And actually, it's still not as green as this moss. It's hard coming off the dead of winter in Michigan because there's no leaves on the trees or anything. But we all look forward to April showers that bring May flowers. So now that we have all of the moss in there, I'm just going to take these little flowers, also from the Dollar Tree. I'm sorry, I don't know what they're called. And I'm just going to place them and then hot glue them. So place them where you want them. If you like it, then make it permanent. And so I do place my things and then I back up and look at it. And if it feels right to me, then glue it down. And I thought there was too much tin in the back there, so I'm just going to put some greenery. I have a big basket of pieces that I picked apart and I just keep throwing them in the basket. So now I'm going to show you how to speckle these eggs. So the brown umber I put on my brush. I got my brush wet, not super wet because you don't want to make big blotches, but somewhat wet. and then you just tap something against the brush. I just have another brush. And I just turned them around and did the same thing on the other side. And let them dry. And now place them in where you like them. And when you like where they're at, then go ahead and make them permanent. And so I'm cutting the bigger ribbon. I'm just taking whatever ribbon I have in my stash. I'm cutting it, the thicker ribbon, longer. And I'm going to dovetail the ends of all the thicker ribbon. And then 2 pieces of each kind of the thinner ribbon. And then you can dovetail it one way, or you can clip it the other way so it turns into a point. So I did dovetail 2 and I made 1 into a point just to give it a little bit more interest. And then, so I'm going to hot glue that on, and some of them fell out, some of the pieces of the ribbon, so I'm hot gluing some more of those on in the middle. And for the flower, I love that flower. I think it's just gorgeous. And that's it. And these wood rounds are so cool. They come from the Dollar Tree. They're not in the best shape, some of them, and that's the only one that I could find, or that's the only one I had. So we're going to cover it up. I'm going to show you how. The bunnies from Hobby Lobby, 40% off of $3.99. I thought he was super cute. And again, these beads here. This is tissue paper from Hobby Lobby, 40% off $1.49. And it has some gold, like the outlines, the flowers in gold. It's gorgeous. This is from Temu. And it was, I don't remember how much it was, like $1.50, and there's a lot there. But if you don't have that, that's fine. This works from the Dollar Tree really, really well, or the lacy ribbon from the Dollar Tree. These also are from Temu. I do not recommend buying them. They were like $3.50, and I could make all of these, and I know you could too, but I ordered them, and so I'm going to use them. And we need some Mod Podge. So take the wood round and put Mod Podge all over the wood round. Not a lot, but not a little, because you don't want it to dry before we put the tissue paper on it. So I'm getting it all in the edges and in the grooves really well. And I'm showing you all my Temu stuff because a lot of people have asked me, how are you going to use that? So I try to incorporate the Temu stuff into as many projects as I can to show you how I am using them. So I just traced the circle, and this is the tissue paper. I spritzed it with a little bit of water to relax the paper and got all the creases out of it. And now this is, I have sped this up significantly. This took me a while to do because you don't want to tear the paper. So I'm kind of pushing it into the sides. And it worked out really, really well. I didn't have any wrinkles in it at all. And that water, I saw another crafter do it, works like a gem. So I went around the edge with my finger cutter and got all the excess paper off of that. And now I want to show those grooves in there. And now I'm sanding it. So first the finger cutter in there and then sand it. But be careful because you don't want to rip the paper. Even though it's dry, it will rip. This is adhesive from the Dollar Tree. And this is the first time I've ever used it. And I think it works pretty well. So I'm putting it all over the bunny. Where the adhesive is not, I will put hot glue to give it a temporary hold until the other glue dries. I'm trying to decide because I got the two, the cream color and the brown one from Temu. This ribbon will glue down flat if you pull it and you hot glue it, and you do it in small increments. And then when you're done, go ahead and hot glue it down some more. The beads here are just ordinary beads from the Dollar Tree. And I took my staple remover and I'm going to remove one side, just one side, because I want to use the hanger, but I want to replace the beads. So I have a natural colored bead and then 2 blue ones, natural color, 2 blue ones, so forth and so on. And these blue ones are like, one is light and one is darker. I didn't notice that until I started putting them on the string, and they were all like that. So it was kind of cool. It gave it a little bit more depth. Now I'm just hot gluing this back on the one side. The other side is still stapled, but I'm, just to make it coordinate and match, I'm gonna put the ribbon on to hold it, and my little Timu flower here. And there you have it. And so is this gnome wall hanging. Now you can do many things with that hat, but I'm going to use that felt from the Dollar Tree. You can put ribbon on it, you can paint it, you can stain it, you can put tissue paper on it. There's a bunch of different things that you can do. But I'm going to put the felt on it. And you need a crate and flowers of your choice. I just pulled every white and blue flower I had out of my stash so it would match the hat. You're going to need some styrofoam, and I did pop a bunny in at the last minute, and some moss. So this is acrylic, a folk art, and it is in the color Daybreak, I'm sorry. And I'm just going to paint just one coat on this entire crate. And I'm taking my blow dryer because I want to take this whole entire piece off there, and I do not, it's so thin, I didn't want it to crack or break. So I just took my blow dryer and that little spatula thing, and it came off pretty easy. Now I took the beard off of the other gnome piece, and I'm just going to glue it right onto this wood gnome. Now I probably should have made it longer, but I didn't, and it should have went up higher past the 2 little notches like there that you can see above the beard, but that's okay. I'm gonna fix it, and I'll show you what I mean in a second. And now I'm just taking that polka dot felt, which I love, from the Dollar Tree. It comes in that pack, and I traced out that cap, and then I'm going to cut it out, and then I'm going to glue it on just around the edges, not in the middle, because sometimes you can see that glue through the middle. And so, as you can see there briefly, I tried to use that burlap and it just didn't fit. So I got the coordinating felt and I just cut a strip, and I'm just going to go ahead almost like it's part of its cap. And so I glued it and trimmed it and then popped that nose right back onto the gnome. And I thought it was plain, so I took some ribbon and I outlined the bottom of that. Had I done it again, I would have outlined the bottom, and then I would have outlined the top of that felt piece too. I think that would have looked really nice, but this works. And so now we're going to paint the butterfly in the Waverly Plaster chalk paint. And then when I'm done, I'm just kind of outlining the butterfly and coloring in the middle where the body is. And this is Deco Art acrylic, and it's called Burnt Umber. And now I'm outlining the mitten or the hand part of both sides. No, I just did one side, and then I folded the felt over and then just cut it out, and then you'll have 2 mittens. And then I just went ahead and popped some hot glue in there, kind of like he was holding the butterfly. This is a tumbling tower block. I wanted to give it a little bit of depth, and so I put that in there, and then I put the butterfly on top of that. I wish I would have pulled it up a little bit higher, but it was hard because it was too close to the nose, and then it took away from the gnome. So I could have probably put the crate down lower and added feet on it, but I didn't. But it worked out fine. So now I'm just putting my flowers from my stash in there, some greens, whatever I had. I didn't buy anything. I have an abundance of flowers from last year. Too many, believe me, way too many. And I'm just putting some blue ones in here and some white ones and these like little leaves. And they're all from the Dollar Tree, all these flowers. Matter of fact, I think all this stuff is from the Dollar Tree except for the paint. And then I had some like little white balls, some yellow ones, blue ones, and white ones. And I put those in there. I got them from, I don't know, I had them a long time ago. Some Dollar Tree over here that's not really a Dollar Tree, it's a dollar store. But they do have little white balls at the Dollar Tree. You could use those. They would work perfectly fine. And I thought his hat was boring, so I made a little tassel out of the jute twine. You just wrap it around your hand a bunch of times, tie it off. And then I cut that end really, really short. And I was lucky that I didn't glue the end of the felt hat up there, so I was able to put it underneath there. Glued it on the front and the back. And now I'm putting some little flowers because I still thought his hat needed a little bit more. And we are done with this one, and this is what it looks like sitting on my table. Okay, no wooden flower. I mean, the flowers are going to be wooden decor piece. And so you'll need a glass jar. This is just a pickle jar from the grocery store. And some dowel rods and also some skewers. I used about a pack and a half of skewers. These flowers here, the wooden flowers, depending on how big your jar is, I think I used about 10 packages. You'll need some baggies because we're going to paint the flowers. And some kind of a box. I use that little box and a pizza box. And I'll show you in a minute why I use them. And then these three kinds of paint. The red is Folk Art chalk paint. The color is called Imperial. The white is Craft Smart acrylic paint, just white. The blue is Apple Barrel acrylic, and it's called Admiral Blue. And we're also going to need some Mod Podge. And first, I like to get all the painting done so we can work while it's drying. And I just cleaned up this pickle jar. It's those zesty pickles that you get at the grocery store that are amazing. Anyway, that's this jar. And I'm just putting just a thin coat of the Mod Podge on it because I want to paint that like a brown color, and the reason is because I don't want to be able to see through it when we attach the skewers. So just a real thin coat, and the bottom too, not the inside though. This is truffle, and it is chalk paint, and yeah, mine looks like poop almost. Sorry, it's really thick. I had it over my heater and I didn't realize it, and this happened a year ago, and I lost a lot of paint and a lot of glue, so be careful how you store your paint. Anyway, so I went ahead and painted the jar, just one quick coat, and now I'm going to paint the flowers, stain them. So I used that red chalk paint, and you want this to be pretty soupy because we're going to, instead of painting them, which would take forever, I'm just kind of doing it like shake and bake. You put it in the bag and you shake it all up. And the more soupy it is, the more it gets into all the cracks and crevices. And that's what they look like. And it's really quick. It doesn't take long at all. It could be kind of messy. Then I have these tweezers from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just pulling them out of the bag. I did the same thing with the blue. And then I did the same thing with the white. And now I have these skewers, and those are from the Dollar Tree. And I have this very large jumbo bag. It's from IKEA. I don't like to waste those because they're kind of expensive, but that's all I had right now. And I am going to put them in a bag, and I have this antique wax from Waverly. I only had a little bit left, so I put a bunch of water in there, and I dumped it all in the bag, and I'm going to stain them. So again, my Waverly Antique, I only had a teeny tiny bit left. That's why I dumped that into the bag just to finish it off. And now you have to take them out and dry them. And then when they're completely dry and the jar is completely dry, I'm showing you they're about, I'm cutting them off at about 7 inches long. And the pointy top goes upward, and then I cut off the bottom. So I cut all of these down. It is, yes, this is kind of time consuming, this and the next part, but it's worth it. I really, really like this piece. So I just have my wire clippers there, and then now I'm gluing it. So I find it's easier to not glue the skewer and then put it onto the jar. It's better to put the hot glue on the jar and then put the skewer on top of it. And as you can see, the top of that is not even. That's okay, because we're going to cover it up. This is just a piece of that foam from the Dollar Tree, and I cut it all up to make it kind of circular so I can fit in the bottom of that. And then these are the dowel rods that I also stain the same way. I stain them right along with the skewers. And I'm putting a bunch of those in there. I think there's about 8 in there. And that's just to give it something for the flowers to stick on. Maybe there's 10 in there. I'm trying to count. So now when the flowers are all dry, I'm going to just hot glue them all the way around. So right at the end of the skewer, the shortest one, to hide that, I'm just gonna glue them all in a row. Now this takes a while because you kind of have to glue them together and then glue them onto the dowel rods or onto the skewers. So whatever those wood roses touch, you have to kind of glue them, and you have to hold them until it adheres. And instead of putting the white on top, I thought I'd put the white on the bottom, because I'm going to put blue up there too, and I thought it was getting a little bit too tall. So I decided to put them around the bottom. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. Probably just from talking too much. And so now I'm putting the blue ones on. And as you can see, there's holes here and there. I had to go stain some more because I ran out of them. So probably a good 10 packages. So after they're all up there and all done, then you just take the jute twine and wrap it several times around the middle. Serves 2 purposes. It helps so those pieces, the skewers, don't fall off, and it looks kind of pretty. So the first DIY, we're going to make this house into a Home of the Brave sign. So you're going to need a house like that, or any one. They sell a ton of different ones at the Dollar Tree. Mod Podge, and this chalk paint folk art called Imperial, which is red. And of course the window clings. So I removed the staple, and there was a big hole in there. So I took this spackling. It's a lightweight spackling from the Dollar Tree. It works okay. It's not my favorite. I like the heavier stuff better. But it worked fine. But if you have the heavier stuff, I guess what I'm saying is I would probably use that. And now I'm cutting this cling down to fit right in there. And I'm taking my X-Acto knife and just clipping off the little ends there. And now, before I Mod Podge the center of it, I'm just going to paint the border of the house in this red chalk paint. Any paint will do. And now I am putting Mod Podge in the middle of this, because we're going to put our cling in there. And hey, by the way, if you are a subscriber, I want you to know I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I couldn't be here without you. I appreciate you. Thank you. If you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing. I have a lot of really cool projects coming up. They're mostly Dollar Tree items or easy to find items. I do a lot of thrifts, and most of my stuff is easy to put together. So consider subscribing, and everybody, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, because this stuff really helps my channel grow. Anyway, back to this here, this Home of the Brave. I took another window cling and I just put the little star on top, Mod Podged over all of it, and then I put that blue and jute, what would you call it, string around the perimeter just to hide the uglies of the edge. Now you can also write something on the back of it because it's a chalkboard too. Okay, DIY number 2. I thought this looked like a firecracker. It could service 2 purposes, just like the previous sign. It's the birdhouse. It's from Walmart. I took one of these pipe cleaners in silver. I have the star stencils. And I have the paint. And I'll tell you the colors in a second. And I have this washi tape, and I'm going to make this birdhouse slash firecracker red, white, and blue. So I counted the top is going to be blue, and then the stripe below it is going to be red, and then is going to be white, and so forth. So I started in the center, and you put 3 pieces of tape down, and you pull up the center tape. And so now we're just painting the top blue. And this is acrylic blue. I had to put 2 coats on it. It's called Admiral Blue. It's an apple barrel paint. And my red is folk art chalk paint, and it's called Imperial. And my white is folk art chalk paint, and that is called Adirondack. But it's just white. And so now, after I painted the top blue, I'm painting that little strip, that little ledge. And by the way, this birdhouse is cheaper than the birdhouses at the Dollar Tree. I think it was like 99 cents or 89 cents at Walmart. And I thought it was super cute and just different. So I went ahead and painted the other 2 stripes red. And now I'm taking my little Cricut pick here and I'm removing the washi tape. And the washi tape's from the Dollar Tree. It doesn't stick the best, but it was the perfect size. So I went with it. And so now you can keep this, that natural color, if you like, because that works too with the red, white, and blue, or you can paint it white, and I'm going to paint it white. So I'm covering up all of the red, and there will be some cleanup. I had to get a teeny, teeny, tiny brush and do a little trimming. Make sure your hands are clean. Mine weren't clean. I didn't know I had white paint on it, and I was holding the top and I got white paint. No big deal. I just, painted over in blue. Now these stars are from the Dollar Tree. I was going to stencil stars on the top, but I thought these were just a different idea. So I'm just using the silver ones, and I hot glued them all over the top. And now this pipe cleaner or chenille stick, they're from the Dollar Tree also. I'm rounding the bottom so it will glue onto the tip of that birdhouse. Now the next DIY, we're going to make the USA blocks just like you saw on the tier tray in the beginning. And it's the same paint I'm using, and that's a star stencil. So red, white, and blue paint again. And if you don't have these, that's fine. Any red, white, and blue paint will work. And now I also have this folk art metallic paint, and that is called, let's see, Antique Gold. So I painted each of these blocks. They come in a pack of 3 from the Dollar Tree, red, white, and blue. And now I am going to put little stars on the blue block. Now if you're from a different country, just use the colors of your flag. Most or probably all of these ideas can be turned into your country's colors. And if you have songs or sayings, use those instead of, the ideas that I have. It would work very well. So now I put these stars on the red and the white blocks. And now I have these little Scrabble wood pieces, and those are from the Dollar Tree also. You get a pack of those. Now my idea, I thought you would see more of the star. You don't. I would probably put the USA or whatever the name of your country is, and you can use more blocks if you have a longer name, obviously, for your country. I would have probably put them on a plain side on the block and then just leave the stars alone, or not even put the stars on. But I was thinking that you could see the full star and then the letter would be in the middle of it, but not really so. The next DIY, we're just going to make a bucket. Really, really easy. If these are not your colors, they have white buckets and you can paint them, or you can just paint these. I am just taking some paper and I'm taking one of these buckets and I'm hot gluing the paper down just to give it some padding and some lift. And when you hot glue on metal, it's really, really hot. Not that hot glue is not hot enough, but this is 10 times worse. So now I took this little garland here. I don't even know where I got it from. I had it in my stash. And I'm just putting it in the little bucket here to make it look all sparkly. And I'm taking a couple of these stars here and I'm just going to hot glue them in the bucket. I think I used 4 of them. And now I'm just taking this jute and I'm making a simple shoelace bow, a little teeny one. I'm going to hot glue it onto the front of the bucket. Okay, so for the next idea, I have this star from the Dollar Tree and one of these plastic hats from the Dollar Tree. They come in a pack of 3, I believe, maybe more. This is a ping pong ball. We're going to paint that. And this American flag toothpick. So we're going to glue the hat onto the star. Now first I put the glue onto the star, let it cool for just a couple seconds, and then put the hat on, because if you put the glue on the hat, it will melt. And this is that gloss again, Beachcomber Beige acrylic, and I'm just taking one of these little sponges and I'm kind of like stippling it on. This is going to be the nose. We're making a gnome here. And again, put the hot glue on the star instead of on the nose or on the hat. The first one is an anchor wall hanging, and we're going to need 2 of those boards in the back with the coral reef. We're going to need some sandpaper, a rope, and you could use wood pieces from the Dollar Tree, or you can use stencils. We will be needing an anchor like that. I have this adhesive from the Dollar Tree, and I'm switching up the paint on this one a little bit, and I will let you know as I use them, but it's mostly Waverly chalk paint. And again, I think I said these are pretty much all from the Dollar Tree. Just the paint isn't, and obviously the glue gun. And so I just pulled all of my stencils out that have anything that looks like it could be in the sea. Okay, so this is Waverly and it's mineral chalk paint, and this is Deco Art acrylic and it's called Copenhagen. And that's what we're going to use to paint these boards, not the paint that I showed you previously. And now we're just going to remove all of the pieces off of this board. And now we're going to use the mineral and we're going to paint the back side of these boards. Now the front side is going to be the back where the writing is and all that, but that's going to be covered up by craft paper that you can also buy at the Dollar Tree. And so I'm just putting one coat on these, and I'm painting the top, the bottom, the sides, and the back of this sign, and I'm doing both of them, and I'm using strokes that go up and down. Done. And now I have this plaster, And I'm going to give it a really, really heavy, like distressed coat, almost like the paint's wearing off in certain places. And I'm doing that to both pieces. And that's what it looks like when it's dry. And notice the holes there. I put 2 on one side and 2 on the other. We're going to kind of hide them with the stencils. But first, I am going to glue these 2 signs together. So I have the adhesive from the Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to run a bead down the one side of the sign. And then I'm going to put hot glue on it also in between. And now I'm gluing the popsicle sticks on the back here just to give it some added strength. And this one went off the side, this popsicle stick, but I just clipped it off later. So now I'm going to take that anchor and I am going to remove the twine from it, and I'm going to paint it in this blue acrylic 3 coats. And after it's dry, that's what it looks like. And I'm going to go ahead and glue it with the adhesive and hot glue right in the middle of this sign. And now I'm just coming down about 1.5 inches because I'm going to put words on here. I'm going to stencil words on there. So 1.5 inches down, and then I put a mark on both sides. And then I took the pencil and I just connected the dots with a line. So I'm going to write anchors away, and the pencil, see, you can't really even see it because I blended it in with my finger, so it looks like it's part of the sign, but I can still see the sign, the line myself. And so I took the stencil and I drew on a piece of paper anchors away because I wanted to measure it and make sure the word fits all on one line. And I hope that makes sense, but you'll see what I'm doing here. And then I have this Dollar Tree stencil. It was the perfect size, and that's why I wanted to make sure that it would all fit the whole entire word on one line with an explanation at the end. And so when I'm doing this, I dab most of the paint off of the little sponge that you get from the Dollar Tree, the little dabber sponge. So it's barely hitting the stencil because you don't want it to bleed through. So but that is what it looks like. It says anchors away. And now I'm going to get into my other stencils. I believe this is from the Dollar Tree too. These are really cool because they stick. They're sticky. So they don't move around and you don't have to tape them or hold them down. And these were probably my favorite. But I am just going to stencil words and stencil pictures all over these 2 little boards. And I'm just going to keep on building it and building it and building it with words and pictures of boats and anchors and a mermaid and shells and fish and turtles. Whatever you have, just get creative, and you can use the same stencil as I will, 3 or 4 times. It just depends on, how busy you want this sign to look. It's going to look pretty busy at the end, but I really like it, and you'll see I have an inspiration piece. And that's what it looks like. I just kept building it up, and building it up. And the holes that were on the side, I just put words or pictures on top of them so you can't even see them. And now I have this nautical rope, and that is from the Dollar Tree also. And I'm just going to glue it on the back. Make it however long you want it, depending on where you're going to hang it. And you don't have to hang it. I'm really happy, probably one of my more favorite pieces, but I love the ocean, I love the beach, I love to people watch. I like to walk on the shore of the beach, on the edge of the water. I'm just all about the beach and the ocean. The ocean's my favorite place in the whole world. It's so relaxing and so pretty. And I just really enjoy myself there. Ocean or the beach. And this is what it looks like hanging on my wall. So inspiration number 3, you'll see at the end my piece, but these are going to be bookends, and I'm making 2 of them. And you'll need all those wood pieces from the Dollar Tree. 2 long planks, 2 short planks, and the circle, and 2 of those rope balls. I didn't use extra rope. No, I didn't. But I'm just giving you ideas of different things. If you can't find the rope balls, you can make them. I have not made one, but I've seen a tutorial on how to make them, and it doesn't look that difficult. You're going to need the sea glass, you're going to need netting, and you're going to need some paint. And I have this chalk paint in Lagoon, Waverly Plaster chalk paint, and Waverly Mineral chalk paint. And the elephant chalk paint too. So these boards are from the Dollar Tree, and they're, as you can see, really rough. So I gave it a quick sand on all of them, even the round pieces. And now I'm going to take the elephant and I'm going to paint all of these pieces, the front and the back and the sides and the top and the bottom on all of them, except the round piece, you don't have to paint the bottom. And I got that mat there that I'm showing you from Temu. It's great, so you don't get paint on everything, because if you get paint on that, it's silicone, it washes right off. Okay, so here I haven't destroyed my mineral chalk paint, so I put it in a styrofoam bowl. And now I'm just painting them, and I just gave it 1 good coat. All of them, you can see here. I didn't want to bore you with my painting skills. So this is the plaster chalk paint, and I'm giving it a really, really heavy coat of that. And this is the Lagoon, and I'm just barely touching it. Just almost like it once had some color to it and then it got painted over. I'm trying to make them look like old wood. So now we're going to put them together, and I have wood glue here because they're wood pieces. And then a little bit of hot glue to set it so I can still work on this while the wood glue dries. I think it takes 24 hours, something like that, to dry. So the round piece goes on the small piece, and the rough side is up so you can see it. The smooth side is on the bottom and on the inside of the book end. But I wanted that rough look to it, almost like it was sitting on the beach and it was weathered for years. Now I made 2 of them, and then I put these books that I got from the Dollar Tree. I just picked out 3 books that were the same size, and I put a rubber band around them to keep them upright. As you can see, I didn't let them dry overnight, but they do hold really, really well. And then, I don't know, did I show you? I probably talked right through it, but I went ahead and put wood glue and hot glue on that long piece on the bottom and put those pieces together. And so I took the netting and I glued that on the front and on the back, kind of at a diagonal. And I have a couple of these fish and that anchor, and I'm going to paint all 3 of those pieces in elephant chalk paint. And when I'm done painting the 3 with the elephant chalk paint, I take the mineral chalk paint, like here I'm showing you, and just distressed it ever so slightly to give it some definition. And now we're ready to glue the ball down there. And I just put some hot glue on that and glued it right in the middle, and then a little dollop on top there to hold the top of the rope. And now I'm going to place the fish and glue them on. And I left, I clipped off or took off one part of the clip that was on the back of the fish. It's a wood piece. And I left the other piece on just to give it, to make it pop a little bit more. So I went ahead and glued those on, and now I'm finding, like, looking for some small, tiny pieces of the sea glass. And I just went ahead and I actually used adhesive to put those on there so they stay better. And I'm going to glue this anchor everywhere it touches the board or the ball. I'm going to put some hot glue there to hold the anchor in place, and that's what it looks like when it's done. This is all Dollar Tree stuff. This is all Dollar Tree stuff. Kind of an accident happened here. I wasn't planning on using these, but I bought these from the Dollar Tree, and I kind of threw them on my table. The little shell dish there, and then the blue charger. I put them on top of each other, and I'm like, wow, this really makes these pieces pop together. So I came up with this idea to make a floral, but I wanted it to look kind of like it was like a under, you know, in the depths of the ocean. So I just went ahead and glued that onto its plastic, onto the charger. And again, like I said, this is all Dollar Tree stuff. And Dollar Tree this year has these really cool picks that have like shells and a seahorse, and it just looks like grass from the bottom of the ocean, and I love them. I picked up a few of those, and I'm just gluing them onto the bottom. I do not want to glue too much to take away from the iridescence in the shell. I want that really to pop. So I just put the 3 longer picks up here, and I just glued them. And I took some interesting shells that I found. These are all from the Dollar Tree too. Mostly everything I use is from the Dollar Tree. Every once in a while, if I have a special project, I'll go to Hobby Lobby or Michael's, but I do try to use Dollar Tree stuff more so. And so I'm just gluing these on. And you can make it more permanent. I didn't want this to be super permanent because I want to use that blue charger for another project, but this turned out so well that, I don't know, I'm kind of like looking at it going, what should I do with this? Maybe I should hang this on my wall. And there's that seahorse that was on one of the picks. And I have these pearls, and they're from the Dollar Tree, of course. And I'm just going to glue pearls all over this piece. I'm just gluing some odds and ends that I had. These flowers are all from the Dollar Tree. I thought I'd give it a little pop of color. The most important thing is make sure that all of your pieces match in some way. The shells have the same color as the picks that you have, and you know, they kind of all go together. So that's kind of what makes the piece. You don't want to use, and you could use different colors, that would be fine, but I like mine all to kind of have all the same color as all the pieces. And now I'm putting a hanger on it, and this is just the rope from the Dollar Tree because I have a lot of really cool projects like this one hanging on my wall. So here's another metal piece that I got, and this is going to be my first DIY. This was $4.99. I just did not like the color, and I wanted to make a floral arrangement with this. So I'm going to show you some things that you need. Any kind of tin. You could even use a pot if you wanted to, but I wanted to hang this piece on my wall. I thought it was interesting and I loved it. I found this ironla. I don't know really how it's pronounced. I looked everywhere for this copper color, could not find it anywhere. I don't remember where I got this from, but it was $5.99. And it's called 2 cents. That was the color. So I took it and I sprayed this outside. And it was a little bit too shiny for my liking. So I took some Waverly chalk paint in the color ink, and I got that at Walmart. My Walmart is still selling them. And I took a little teeny sponge and I got it damp. And now I am blotting it on a paper towel because I'm going to distress this to make it just not as shiny. And I'm just kind of blotting this everywhere, here and there, and I am going to wipe it off. Okay, so now that I've distressed this piece, I am wiping it all off. And basically that's what it looks like when it's done. So put as much on if you're doing something like this as you want, or as little, or you can just leave it the original copper color, which is pretty too. It was just too shiny for me. So I am taking these are all picks from the Dollar Tree, and I am showing you how you can use a thrifted piece and put some of these stems in from the Dollar Tree, and maybe a pumpkin, you know, whatever color your decor is. You can put a white one, an orange one, a green one, you know, whatever works for you. You can put 2 or 3 of them. Those were not my colors. Those were picks that I had that I'm going to use in another project. But these I picked up from Michael's, and they were all 50% off. And these are my colors in my house, and where I want to hang this on my wall. This matches perfectly. So that's why I went to Michael's and bought florals. But Dollar Tree has some really nice stuff too, just not my colors, which are more of the muted colors. And so all these picks were 50% off. And I just glued the foam down there, and I'm not gluing these in. And the reason why is because I always place them first. Because if I don't like them, I can pull them out, replace them with something else, move them to another area. So I always place my things down first, stand back, get a good look at it, and then if I like it, then I go ahead and make it permanent by gluing it in. And so these are just, like I said, a couple pumpkin picks and some wheat, some mums, and they're all from Michael's, and then these berries here too, which I thought added a little bit of height. And I thought it needed another pumpkin. It was too gold. I had to put a little bit more. Like, this pumpkin is really pretty. I love it. It's like a light green. It's like a celery green. It's so pretty. And then I also thought it needed a few more florals, and these are from the Dollar Tree. And after I popped a few of those in, I thought, yep, that's it. Perfect. So here's what it looks like hanging on my wall. I put another couple of those like goldish red picks into. This was at Blue Pot, and I'm showing you my boo-boo. I was in a big hurry because I had too much going on, and I spray painted it outside, and it was too close. And you should do short bursts, about, I want to say like 10 inches away, if not 12 inches away. I just did one steady stream because I was in a hurry, and yeah, it dripped, and it was a mess. And then it wasn't cut quite dry, and I picked it up again because I was in a hurry, so it's got a little fingerprint on there. I can fix it, but I was going to distress this, and I decided not to because I just really loved this copper color. Now these picks, the little wheat looking ones, are left over from what I used in my previous project, from Michael's at 50% off. I think they were like $5.99 or maybe $6.99 or something. And these mums are from the Dollar Tree, and they look beautiful together. And I think the only thing this piece is missing is a nice white pumpkin, or that's kind of a greenish color pumpkin. And I just placed that in there, and I put it on my table next to my lamp and threw a candle in front of it, and this is what it looks like. I love it. These are the pieces that you will need, or I should say the items. This tin, and all these pieces, by the way, are from the Dollar Tree except for the paint. So one tin, and then 4 of those wall tile pieces, a foam block. And by the way, if you're going to be making 2 like I am, but I'm not doing it on this video, you're going to obviously need 2 of everything. I have the foam green ring, and I have the garland. I have the very long skewers. I have some white spray paint. I have this sparkling glitter spray paint. I don't think it's spray paint, it's a spray glitter in silver. I have a Waverly white chalk paint and a Waverly antique wax and this little sponge dabber. I also have some berry garland from the Dollar Tree Plus. That was $3. I really like that garland, by the way. I have some lights, the fairy lights, or you have the plug-in ones. There's just different colors of white or different shades of white, I guess. And then I love this. It's $5.99. Couldn't help myself. Got it from Home Goods, but it's a gingerbread ribbon. It is beautiful. And so we're going to assemble the bottom. So you need 4 of these, so 1 for each side. And I want the round piece that's in the middle of the tile to be in the middle of the tin. So I kind of eyeballed it, and now I'm taking a little blade and I'm just cutting around it to remove the excess tile. And do that to all 4 sides. And then the top and the bottom both have kind of like a little edge, and so I trimmed off the excess paper from the top and the bottom edge, and then I sanded it all down, and I did that to all 4 sides. Now just take that and place it back on the package, and we can use that for maybe another Christmas DIY. I don't know, we'll see, but I kind of save everything. So now, after we're done with that, we're just going to take this little dabber sponge and we're just going to dab on the white chalk paint. And as that is drying, we're going to take these skewers and we're going to measure. So a good, 5 or 6 inches here are going to be down in the container. So how tall do you want to make the topiary? That's where you're going to cut it. So if you want it to be 12 inches tall, you're going to add on the length of the container. I hope that makes sense. And then I took my miter shears and I cut 2 of them because, like I said, I'm making 2 of them, and I just did this together. And now I'm just staining it with the antique wax. So now, while the skewers are drying, we're just taking the foam here and we're just wrapping the garland around it. And this garland is wired, and it took 1 whole garland, and I didn't have to hot glue it on there because it's wired, and I just twisted the 2 ends together. Now you can make it fuller and add a little bit more, but I didn't need to. I didn't think it was necessary. And I sprayed that with white spray paint, and then that is sitting outside on my porch drying. And now this tin is dry, and I am now just kind of distressing it pretty heavily with this gold metallic paint. And so I put a lot of gold on that. If I had gold ribbon here like I'm showing you, I would have used that. I didn't. I just had the silver stuff, but it looks nice too. And the ends, the corners were pretty rough with the the metal and the paper, so I wanted to hide that. And so I just ran it down all 4 corners, about 2 inches up on top, so I could glue it on the inside of the tin piece. It's done. And now we're going to take this styrofoam piece, and I thought I could get away with just sticking it in there and putting the skewer in the wreath and then putting it down in there, but it was very wobbly because it wasn't touching the bottom, so I had to cut it and packed it in there pretty good. I put the whole thing in there, and I added the little wedges on the side too, just so it would be more stable, I guess, as I'm trying to say, because it was very wobbly. And now that I hot glued it all down in there, because this thing's pretty tall actually, it worked. And then I added a whole bunch of hot glue in there. And now I have some rocks from the Dollar Tree. These I had, I'm glad I had them because it was very wobbly because it was top heavy. Now I have another garland here, and And this is wired also, and I'm just wrapping it around to hide those rocks there. And now this garland, which is beautiful. I love it. It's so pretty. I'm just going to wrap this garland around just a few times, I think 4 or 5 times. I took some floral wire and I wired it in onto the back, wrapped it around, and that's it. You'll see it. It was so big I couldn't get it in camera. And now I'm just making a simple bow. I just wrapped it over 3 times on itself. And because this bow is the gingerbread is sideways, not the gingerbread, the ginger people are sideways, I'm going to show you what I did. So the top piece of the bow is separate, and then I clipped off 2 or cut off 2 tails separate from that to determine how long you wanted. I think it was like 8 or 10 inches. And then instead of dovetailing it, I actually made it into a point at the end. And see how the gingerbread, I put them down and I had to cut them separate so you could see them and one wasn't upside down. I hope that makes sense. But I couldn't figure out how to do the ribbon without just kind of cutting it all and hot gluing it and then zip tying it, and it worked out, but I had to piece it all together. And now I'm just fluffing it out a little bit here. And then I scrunched it in the middle and I put an extra little berry on it. And this is what it looks like. And I'll show you up close now. I really, really love this piece. I'm very happy with the way that it turned out. And I spray painted the skewer with some sparkly glitter also, just to make it look like it's snowy and frosty, and I threw some berries on top of that. Thank you for hanging out with me at Homeridge Studio. I hope you have a very happy new year and a blessed one. I will see you very soon. Bye.